So let's set up Vienna Ensemble Pro on your system. First, start your Vienna Ensemble Pro servers on the computers you want to use Vienna Ensemble Pro on. This can be directly on your master computer or on any networked computer. Right now, I will start up both the Vienna Ensemble Pro 64-bit server version on my master computer and both a 32 and 64-bit version on my Windows networked computer, which I am connected to via screen sharing. By running the 32-bit and 64-bit servers on my Windows system simultaneously, I can now access all plugins that are only available in 32-bit versions, and all 64-bit plugins will be available in my 64-bit VE Pro server. Apple has decided to part with 32-bit development, which is why this option has been removed from our software. And just for the record, the big advantage of 64-bit software is that you can load as much RAM as you have physically available on your computer, whereas the RAM limit in a 32-bit environment is around 3 GB. In any case, you will need a working computer network to make Vienna Ensemble Pro work smoothly. A setup guide for a basic computer network can also be found in our Vienna Ensemble Pro manual. See the link in the upper right corner. Alright, so my Vienna Ensemble Pro servers are now up and running. The preferences of each server can be set individually. These settings can help to optimize the performance of your system, for example by optimizing the number of used audio outputs for each instance or experimenting with the assigned threads for each Vienna Ensemble Pro instance. Find more information about multi-threading in our Vienna Ensemble Pro manual with the link in the upper right corner. Remember that the number of audio and MIDI ports can influence the startup time and performance of Vienna Ensemble Pro, and every sequencer handles this in a different way. Now, insert Vienna Ensemble Pro as a multi-timbral plugin in your sequencer. If you are not sure how to do this, please check the chapter Routing in your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual to find out how this works with your specific sequencer. In Logic, you should make sure that multi-timbral is checked so that 16 MIDI channels will open right away in Logic. If you want multiple audio returns available, make sure to choose the Vienna Ensemble Pro multi-output option. Again, this is handled differently in every sequencer and it's documented in the routing chapter of your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual. The Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin takes care of the connection to the Vienna Ensemble Pro servers. Click Connect and you will see all available Vienna Ensemble Pro servers. Your 64-bit server on your master computer, the local host, and both 32 and 64-bit servers on the networked computer, also displaying the assigned IP address. Choose one of them and the connection is established instantly. One instance of Vienna Ensemble Pro is now opening on the corresponding computer, in this case on my networked computer. More Vienna Ensemble Pro instances will be added when you connect multiple Vienna Ensemble Pro plugins with your networked computers, and you will see that they are connected when the plug sign in the instance window is showing in white. There are a few further icons available with each instance, and they can be seen in the Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin as well. The lock sign lets you preserve an instance, which will keep all samples loaded even if you close your song. You can activate and deactivate the whole Vienna Ensemble Pro instance, and you can raise each Vienna Ensemble Pro instance from the plugin. We will talk about preserve and decouple in a separate video, as those are essential features of this cool software. Now, insert any plugin and assign the MIDI port and MIDI channel. There are quite some useful choices in the Vienna Ensemble Pro preferences, one of which lets you decide which should be the default MIDI channel when you insert a plugin. If you are mainly working with monotimbral plugins like the Vienna Synchron Player that comes with your Epic Orchestra 2.0, one will be a good choice. If you are working a lot with multi-timbral plugins like Kontakt or Omnisphere, all will be more convenient, so that you can receive MIDI data on multiple MIDI channels. Most multitimbral plugins also offer multiple audio outputs, which can be routed separately in Vienna Ensemble Pro. To have these outputs available in the mixer, click on the plus button in the instrument channel, and these additional outputs will appear as separate channels. Using the audio outputs of Vienna Ensemble Pro, you can route an audio signal internally, for example to certain buses or back to your sequencer. Again, each sequencer is different in this regard, and you'll find more information in your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual. You can also process audio signals from your sequencer. Insert an audio input plugin in the audio track of your sequencer and assign this plugin to the already established Vienna Ensemble Pro connection. If you are not connected to a Vienna Ensemble Pro server yet, you cannot send any audio signals. In Logic Pro, you'll need to insert an I/O plugin on each input plugin, event input and audio input, and on the Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin as well, to guarantee full functionality. Bypassing the I/O plugin will force the audio track into live mode. With all other sequences, this extra step is not necessary. You can use both the audio and event input plugin without additional plugins. When sending audio signals from your sequencer to Vienna Ensemble Pro, you'll pick up this signal from the available inputs. It depends on the settings in your preferences how many of these audio channels you have available. Last but not least, connecting to Vienna Ensemble Pro usually means that you are introducing some latency due to the extra networking, and this is also true for the local host on one machine. Such latency is automatically compensated by any sequencer that supports latency compensation, so the latency settings in the server interface only affect your live performance. The default setting is 2 buffers, which means that when playing any notes live, 2 buffers will be added on top of the latency of your sound card. So if your sound card is set to, for example, 256 samples, 2 times 256 samples latency will be added. All in all, that's 3 times 256 samples, 768 samples. Next to the latency buffer settings, you will see the actual latency of the server interface, which can depend on more factors, such as using latency-inducing plugins in the connected instance. Don't let that confuse you. In simple words, latency is the time the server interface needs to process your MIDI and audio input into audio output. So the rule for Vienna Ensemble Pro is, if you don't want to add any latency to the latency of your sound card, set the network latency for the instance you are recording with to none. But remember that no added latency also means more workload for your CPU, so it will be wise to set the latency to a higher value once you have finished the recording. Especially when mixing or fine-tuning huge scores, you will also find the 4 buffer settings very helpful. Any questions? Join our forum community, contact us directly via support@vsl.co.at or leave a comment.